The best expert with the most authority and knowledge about APA style is the people who write the APA style guide. The American Psychological Association is the association that creates the APA style guide, continuously updates rules, and makes changes as resources around us change. And they are really the top authority on how to use APA properly. So I figured instead of me creating my own show, I'm just going to walk you through what APA has developed to discuss or identify the parts of a APA style student paper. So I'll just go through their document on their website, and if you're interested in this link, it will be in your additional resources section, so you can certainly revisit it as many times as you like. So let's take a look. It does tell us about our basic page setup with our margins. And I feel like in Microsoft Word and probably Google Docs, your margins are automatically 1 inch. So you should check that to make sure, but I assume the default for your margins is already 1 inch. So just leave it like that. For APA style, we'd like a legible font. Legible means easy to read. There are some suggestions here that APA suggests would be the best, as well as the default font of whichever word processing program you're using. Please double space your entire paper. Don't add any blank lines before or after headings, which probably will not apply to your 5-paragraph essay because headings are not required. And please do not add an extra space between your paragraphs. As default on your word processing, you're going to start on the left and move to the right. Your paragraphs will be aligned to the left, so all lined up against the left-hand side of the paper. When it's time to indent the first line of every paragraph, simply hit your Tab key, and that will indent the required 0.5 inches. APA style requires page numbers in the top right corner of every page, including the title page or the cover page. For this essay, we don't require a running head on any page, which is like a header that appears on every page. We don't require it, but if you'd like to add it, feel free to do that. As for your title page, there are a few elements you need to consider. Your page number goes in your upper right-hand corner, and you can do that with a header in your Google Doc or in your Microsoft Word processor. I would like you to put a paper title, and please, if you can, make your title creative, dynamic, and really indicative of what your paper is about. Please just don't call it History of Basketball or Monks in PEI. Make it a interesting and exciting statement or sentence that will make me want to read on. On your title page, you can also include your name. Affiliation would be the institution that you're attending. So you could put Holland College after your own name. Your course number and name, and it is English 1000, English. Instructor name, Melissa Josie, and the due date. So that is your title page. It also tells us how to space your title page here in APA format. So when it's time to start writing, and typing, consult this for the specific details. Again, title page font should be a standard font similar to what you've decided to use for the rest of your paper. Although it's really nice to have something creative, bold, fancy on the front page, I do want you to have it consistent with the rest of your font. So please use the same font on your title as well as the rest of your paper. This is where it tells us our text elements and how they are set up. Again, what it does is walks us through even the parts of our essay, which is a nice reminder. So our introduction goes first. You don't need to title it introduction. I will know when I see it as your first paragraph that that's what it is. I did mention we didn't have to use descriptive headings, so don't worry about that part. Double space all your text. There's your indents. If you use block quotations, which are longer quotations, there is a method to do that, and you indent your whole quotation. As if you would indent your first sentence of your paragraph, you indent your whole quotation to kind of indicate that's where it starts and ends. And when you do use block quotations, you don't use quotation marks. You just block indent, and that indicates that it's a quotation. Here is a section on headings. We don't need to worry about that for this essay, but you may have a project in the future that you need to use headings for. This is a good place for you to come back and revisit when you're in that situation. The same with our tables and figures. We don't necessarily need them in our paper unless you have included some pictures or some statistics. If you do, you can follow these directions here. And it is just adding your number, your title, your image, and your optional note. We'll skip down that. That takes up a big bulk of this style guide. More information on where you're going to put your figures and your tables. And very important and essential with a proper APA style essay is your reference list. Now, librarian Emily talked in some of her videos about APA format, and she's also invited you to contact her for more information if you need it. So here is how APA would like you to set it up. We are going to call it references, and our references will be in alphabetical order by author's last name. For your references, you need to double space the entire reference list. There's something interesting about your references, how they're indented. It's the opposite of how you indent a paragraph. Actually, the first word is left justified, left aligned, and it's the other lines, the second and the third and even the fourth, that are indented. Now, when you're working in Word or Google Docs, there's something called a hanging indent, and that is what you're going to do with your reference list. So if you're not sure about how to create a hanging indent, you may want to go through a quick YouTube video or even ask Google or Word for a little bit of help, and they will show you how to do a hanging indent. Again, the font, please keep it the same as the other font you've already used in your text. And like Emily has told us, or like the tools that you're using to create your citations will tell you, they will help you know when to italicize things, when to underline, when to put page numbers, all of that, although you can certainly learn about it on the APA style guide in the APA rules, but the tools will help you sort it out so you don't have to remember everything. And then the final checks for you to do would be check your page order, which is an excellent suggestion. Headings we don't have to worry about. Please check back to our assignment instructions. So it would be your information that I've given you at the beginning of the course about our 5-paragraph essay, as well as the rubric, which will be a great help in helping you sort out what you need to do to get a great mark on your paper. And then lastly, it gives you a few tips for better writing. These are all things that we've talked about before, and hopefully you have already done or intend to do with your paper. So that's a quick overview of how I want you to format your APA paper when it's time to turn it in. Hopefully it's self-explanatory and you're able to follow along either this video or on the APA style guide on your own, and you'll have a perfectly submitted APA style paper.